Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
It's a Sunday night on Golf Central. 603 combined starts on the web.com. The PGA Tour champions for Kevin Sutherland. And for only the second time in his career, he is a winner. But this one, better than most, it's actually two for the price of one as he wins the championship and he wins the Charles Schwab Cup. With that, we say hello to you, Ryan Burr, with PGA Tour winner Brandel Chambly. Bernhard Langer, 7 wins during the year. I know you're screaming at home he deserves to win, but it's a playoff, it's a reset, and Kevin Sutherland's your champ.
Yeah, one of the hardest questions to answer on the PGA Tour champions is how in the world has Kevin Sutherland never won? He'd played in 77 PGA Tour champions events before this week and had finished in the top 10 37 times. And when you consider just how good he is through every part of the bag, he was really only second to one player. If you just take a look at this, second in top 10s, not only this year, but over the last 3 years, he's second to Bernhard Langer. Second in scoring average to Bernhard Langer. Second in all around, second in greens and regulation. He's one of the best on the PGA Tour champions par 5s. He just had every single facet of the game perfectly under his control, except he had not won. Well, the fact is Bernhard Langer wins so often, he doesn't really leave that much on the table. And the part of Kevin Sutherland's game that's not great, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not great, is on the greens. And, you know, Bernhard Langer and Scott McCarron have putted so well, they've just left hardly anything for anybody else.
Well, he got 2 for the price of the 1 on this Sunday. So Kevin Sutherland able to track down and pass Bernhard Langer. It was a 71 and a 68. We said coming into the final round, Langer still maybe the favorite to win the Cup. Needed the right guy to win the Charles Schwab Cup championship and had to take it low on Sunday. They're getting the Cup polished up, ready to go. And Bernhard Langer would come out early and, as expected, Brandel, make a charge.
Well, that's right. This is at the 17th hole, and unfortunately, after driving in the bunker, he came up short and made bogey. Now, he was probably pulling for first time maybe in his long time, ever maybe, for somebody else, like Goidos or Jansen or Vijay Singh to win this thing, because the only way he's got a chance to win the Charles Schwab Cup is to, 1, make birdie at the last, which he did thanks to that shot, and 2, have somebody other than Kevin Sutherland win this championship.
So it's a 64 for Langer. Would it be enough? A Sutherland for Eagle at 7.
Well, he gets a lot of looks at Eagles because he, like Scott McCarron, has a lot of power, and he's a fabulous ball striker, and he finally got one to fall right there.
And unlike Lee Jansen, Sutherland started the week inside the top 5. We know the deal. If you're in the top 5 and you win the Cup. Jansen, however, could spoil Sutherland's party. He takes the lead at 14 under.
Yeah, Jansen just got off to a great start. He birdied 1, he birdied 5, he birdied 8.
Now Sutherland at 9 ties Jansen at 14 under, and he leads the Cup standing. Same hole, Jansen for birdie.
And again, it's just at this point you thought Jansen's probably not going to go away, other than the fact that yesterday, if you were watching, he had a couple of wobbly drives and a shank on the back 9.
Enter Vijay Singh. Now he's part of the party.
Yes, he is indeed a big part of the party. What a day it was. Freddie Couples had posted a 62 earlier. John Daly was shooting a 65. Vijay Singh, with that shot, thought, my goodness, maybe they'll collapse a little bit and he'll stick around and win at a playoff.
Now, Vijay posted at 14 under. If Vijay wins, Langer wins the Cup. 13th hole, Jansen up by 1, no good. Drops into a 3-way tie. That puts Sutherland back in the driver's seat. Sutherland.
And again, beautiful rhythm to the stroke, and not the best part of his game, but perfect greens, great tempo. Tells you he's in control of his emotions.
To 18, Sutherland up 1, second from 200. There's water right.
Now, he could have put this thing completely out of way. He hit 2 beautiful shots at 17, missed a 4-footer. And then, obviously, with the water on the right, not going to miss over there. It takes a little while to get this drop sorted out, but he's dropping on a downslope, which means the ball's going to run forward, so he'll eventually get to place it. So he gets a good lie, and then this takes a little bit of nerve to be able to bounce it through the rough like that. Could have easily caught up, and he had a chance to just put this away for those that were chasing, and he didn't. So there was still an outside chance.
Sutherland posts 15 under. The door's slightly open for this guy, Jansen. It's got to go.
That's right. Looking to hole it out. One skip close enough, but not in the hole.
So Sutherland wins for the first time on the PGA Tour Champions. He also captures the race for the Charles Schwab Cup. As we said, 603 combined starts on the web, the PGA Tour, the PGA Tour Champions. This is win number 2 for Sutherland, and it's a nice little bonus, the Charles Schwab Cup, that comes with it. And Kevin Sutherland by 1 over VJ and Lee Janzen, 2 by John Daly. There's Bernhard Langer making things interesting with the 64, but this day belongs to Kevin Sutherland.
Yeah, and you mentioned all the events that he's played. You know, somewhere along the way, someone would have thought, well, you know, why are you still doing this? You know, you're not winning. And it's 1, you're your own boss. 2, there's hardly a better job in the world if you're good enough to play golf for a living. Not necessarily winning, but just enough to keep your job. You have a chance to go to the best places in the world at the best times of the year, and of course, play golf and get paid for it, for crying out loud. Now, he's achieved some marvelous things along the way. He managed to win a match play event on the PGA Tour, a WGC event. He's the only person in the history of the PGA Tour Champions, going all the way back to 1980, to break 60, and that's it. Ryan, you remember this. You and I were sitting right here. We got the call to run out to the desk because, believe it or not, he had a chance to shoot 57, and he sort of boggled up the last hole a little bit, but that was it. That's it. 59. Of course, another man giving him a hug there, Paul Goydos, has done that on the regular tour. But, you know, these are 2 things he will never forget. He's worked long and hard to get where he's at. He's won a WGC event. He's broken 60 on the PGA Tour Champions, and he's won the Charles Schwab Cup. And again, there are people out there, as you alluded to, outrageous. I don't know a whole lot about football. You know that. But I do remember the Patriots getting beat by the Giants in the year that the Patriots were perfect. You know, you still have to play in the playoffs. And Bernhard Langer played, by his standards, very poorly the first round and a half.
You know, every other sport, to your point, they start their championship game at 0-0.
That's right.
You don't get any credit for the regular season. With that said, Bernhard Langer, unbelievable season. As we take a look at the final standings, Langer, of course, the 7 wins, and he finishes second. He had a gigantic lead after winning the first 2 events of the playoffs. That was reduced on the reset to just 200, and that allowed Kevin Sutherland, who was inside the top 5, to be able to win and get the win of the Cup. So here's Langer, 7 wins on the year, 60 years of age, a great final round, and there were times on Sunday where he was back in the lead. Incredible season. Kevin Sutherland winning this probably shouldn't take anything away from Langer. Your thoughts?
One of the greatest athletic achievements, and it won't go down that way, but when you're fighting Father Time and you're still able to play, you're able to play at a higher level than you ever have since you've been on the PGA Tour Champions. He's a shot and a half better than he was when he was 50 at 60 years of age. He putts that much better. He won 7 times when he was 59, 60 years of age. When you look at the entire career of Hale Irwin, he only won 5 times after turning 60 years of age. And one of his interviews this week with Rich Lerner, and Rich asked him if he thought that Bernhard Langer would catch him. There was a little twinkle in Hale Irwin's eye as he said, inevitably, things start to happen to you at 60 that you could never imagine. Father Time catches up with you sooner or later. But if you've been watching and listening to Bernhard Langer, and you actually, as he was walking up the 18th hole, he was drinking a coconut water. And I thought to myself, this guy doesn't miss a trick. I promise you, he's thinking right now about what he's going to do for the next season. And can he win 7? He needs to get 9 more victories. And can he get 7 or 8 more victories next year? But if I was Hale Irwin, I know he's quite proud of that record. But I would be a little... I'd be on pins and needles knowing that Bernhard Langer was out there playing as well as he is.
The German showing absolutely no signs that he is aging, and looks to be in great physical shape. As you showed us early in the week, he's just lost a little bit of distance off his tee shot.
If that. I mean, he was averaging 282 when he was 50. He's averaging 280 now. But he's so much better than he was with his irons, and so much better on the greens. Nobody's ever had a year like this on the greens. And I mean, not just on the PGA Tour Champions, I'm talking about on the PGA Tour, period. So, again, there's much to learn. If I'm Adam Scott, if I'm Keegan Bradley, Carl Peterson, Tim Clark, I'm watching the way Bernhard Langer putted, and I'm coming out next year or this season, next week, and putting exactly the same way Bernhard Langer and Scott McCarron do, because it's legal, and they're putting the eyes out of it.
Indeed, and it'll be interesting to see if Langer does show any signs of age. He hasn't yet, but will that happen next year? When we come back, Ricky Fowler headed to the 72nd hole, needing birdie to force a playoff. Wait till you see what happened. You'll see it next.
Golf Central. is brought to you by Titleist, the #1 ball at the OHL Classic at Mayakoba. Bushnell Golf and the Pro X2 with enhanced slope switch technology.